So today we've been lucky enough to be with Michael Balter himself, and thank you so much for the questions that people have been sending in. I am now going to ask him some of those questions. So, actually the first question's from me. What was your very first pair of mallets you ever made?
The equivalent of the 13 R's, the blue yarn. I wasn't happy with what was the sounds I was getting, so I wanted something that would cover over the whole instrument. I started playing the 13 R's and people take it off, and it's then I started making a vibe mallet, which turned out to be, because blue is my favorite color, as you notice, it matches my eyes. So I made the 23 R's, and they have a nickname. I didn't give it to them, but the public gave it to them, Balter Blues.
Yeah.
So the 23R was the first one, which dwarfed itself into the 23R.
So the next question, as everyone asks, is there is so many different ranges in the Mike Balter Mallets series. Why are there so many?
Because we want to offer the player all of the options. Some, especially because of the fact that some people have larger hands, smaller hands, but they want a heavier mallet, a lighter mallet, or something that's going to be single tone or dual tone or tritone. And so what's going to happen is we want to be able to offer them, and as the instruments change, now 5 octave is the standard instrument, we needed to come up with new lines of mallets or expanded some of our lines so that they would be able to get those bars vibrating.
What's your favourite mallet out of all of them?
Favorite mallet? Probably the favorite series is probably the Pro Vibe series or the Titanium series.
I do like the Titanium series.
Because the Titanium series just covers everything in such a warm sound. You know, it's nice. When you want a little edgier sound, or with my soft, shy personality, my playing, reflects that as well. I mean, there's no question of when I'm playing that I'm playing and everybody can hear me, and my personality comes out in my playing as well. And so sometimes I'll, want to use something that's going to, speak well, but still be musical. And one thing that we always prided ourselves on is that the mallets provide quality of sound, not only quantity of sound, but quality as well. And we want a vibe to sound like a vibe, not like a bass bells, that they're so hard, or a marimba sound like a marimba. And so we just expand it and to offer all the flavors and the colors that they want. Because in reality, any mallet is just an extension of your hand. And that the player can then have the tools to express themselves through those, with the proper tools.
So, when you very started making your first pair of mallets, how did you turn into this company and doing all these? There must have been that first point that you made a pair of mallets, and how did the world then know about them?
I was playing, and I would be making mallets for myself because I was hearing certain sounds in my head that I wasn't able to achieve with commercially made mallets. So I started making some of my own because I didn't want, even though that the mallet instruments are a percussion instrument, they don't have to be a percussive sound. They're still a musical instrument. And so I wanted to sound more lyrical, more warm, more chamber-like. So I started making my own mallets, and then people started saying, "Oh, you're recording it," because I was doing a lot of recording at that time. They sound great. They sound very musical. We don't have to, adjust, other things. And then I was playing in a lot of the nightclubs, and as this conductors would come in, they would say how great the bells sound. They sound like bells. They don't sound like tinny, bins or marimba. They can hear the vibes without being pingy. So that what happened is they would say, well, I would give them some mallets. I was just making them for myself, and then people would just start calling from other towns and other places, and next thing I know, I'm in the mallet business.
Whether you liked it or not.
Yeah, I had no options, I was lucky enough to have really good teachers and mentors and knew a lot of great people. And they took me under their wing to mentor me, like the Remo Bellies, the Vic First, the Bill Ludwig's, both senior and junior, Zildjian. These people, when I was, 15, 16 years old, I used to go up to them and ask them questions at conventions and everything. They had no hesitation in giving me the answer because they knew that I was serious and that I wanted to learn. And I just felt that if these people are so nice to me, that if these are the type of people that are in this industry, this is the industry I want to go into. And I always thought that instead of sitting behind a big behind a big desk, I'll be sitting behind a big drum set, at this time, because I've always been a player, and it just turned into a business and into a passion. That's something that I, just love. And especially satisfying people with the sounds that they wanted to do.
You talk about like the fact that the passion and that sitting behind a desk. Someone else has asked, and has actually asked me, and when I was, they forwarded me an email that you sent them, and they actually said to me, "Oh, I got an email from Mike Balter Mallets, and it's signed on the bottom, Mike Balter." But they said, "Oh, I'm guessing someone from the office, and everything gets signed off, Mike Balter." At the end of the email, I said, "No.
No,
that would have been."
It would have been directly from me.
So the emails that come in when they email you, you're here. Is it actually going to you?
Yeah, or else the office will forward me those that, like, if somebody has a question or they want a recommendation. I still enjoy working with the people, and what used to be over the phone at one time or in person is now through email. But I like helping people, and as I said, going back to what I said earlier about the people who were so nice to me, it's now time for me to pay it back and to be kind and good to the next generation.
So you're still nice and hands-on within the company. You're not off sunning yourself somewhere. You're still
no. You see this? It's called moon tan. Yeah, no. I don't sit in the sun, and I don't procrastinate about anything. If something has to be done, I'm going to do it.
The new series that you come up with, so the newest series, there's been new ones out, but we talked about the Titanium series earlier on. How does a new series come about when you've got so many different aspects and so many mallets out there? What makes you suddenly go, yeah, this is missing? Is it an artist coming in, you liking things, how a sound that maybe they've spoken to you about, or is it still solely you coming up with all the new things?
For the most part, it's basically me, but there could be an artist who has an idea or wants to expand something, and then I will make them that mallet, and then when you start talking to people and through these emails or phone calls, you find out that there's a need, that there's something, even as extensive as the line may be, that in the line there's something that is not satisfying their need. So I try to come up with something, and then if it's worthwhile, we will make a custom mallet, or if it's worthwhile that I think it has validity to improve what's out there in the marketplace in order to give the player another voice, another sound, because I always look at it that the player's an artist. And as the painter has that palette of the various colors that they can put together to make the musical sound, that's the way that the mallets are. Each mallet is going to give the player a different sound, a different timbre, a different feel, because what they're doing is they have to express the music, their interpretation of the composer's music, to whatever it may be, and I provide them with the tools to be able to do that with as many colors or nuances as they would, want.
Every piece needs a different, sound.
A different sound, a different feel, but there's certain ones that you have characteristics, and if someone said to you, it doesn't matter what instrument it might be, it could be a vibe, xylophone, marimba, bells, chimes, I don't care what it is. When you explain that to somebody, they know what it's supposed to sound like. And so the question is, how do you improve on that sound? Or especially today, with everything being so amplified and so, playing acoustically is almost becoming a way of the past.
Yeah.
So that you have to adapt. And the one thing that I would say I pride myself on is that I never rest on my laurels. As good as the 23R is, and as great as it is, it's not the end-all vibe mallet. I'm still going to create other vibe mallets and still come up with other things and different things. Like Joe Locke and I were working on a mallet, and the 23 was kind of close, but it wasn't going to what he exactly needed. So he ended up with the crossover.
Yeah.
And that one, was, and then he wanted something a little warmer for ballads. Came out with the deep tone, and like the deep tone is a great sounding mallet.
All-rounded sound and
Right.
aesthetic sound. That's wicked. One last question. Have a cuddle.
Oh, absolutely.
Gives the best cuddles in the world. Oh.
Now, can you take an oil painting?
So before we leave, I've got one last thing to ask. Do you have any kind of words of advice or just anything that anyone who's watching, you'd like, a little message you'd like to say to them?
Sure, go ahead, put me on the spot. The first thing I would like to say is thank you. Thank you in a very small way for allowing me to become part of your life and part of your musical journey as you play with Mike Balter mallets. And as Duke Ellington said, speak through your horn. Let your playing do your talking. Thank you. Enjoy. Now go practice.